I'm here with my buddy Zach, the one and only Zach Hicks, and we're replacing the axle shaft, or CV axle, on this 2008 Pontiac G6. First thing we did, obviously, was jack the car up, put a jack stand under it for safety measure. You're gonna want to make sure you put it on that lip right there. That's the strongest part right there to put the jacks on. You're gonna loosen up this axle nut, loosen it up all the way. Ain't that right, Zach?
Yep.
You're gonna loosen it up. And what we did was this tie rod, so we had wiggle room. There it is. We undid this. This is this is a 36 millimeter socket. Hey, this was 18, right? Yeah, 18 right here. And actually, the other two we undid was these two, and they were 18s. So we're gonna go ahead and do that on the video, and we'll show y'all afterwards. All right, so we're gonna try to work this in there. One thing I forgot to mention, y'all may have already done it, but this plug, we undone it. It's actually right here, just to have more playroom. So maybe y'all already figured that out, I don't know. Sorry we didn't mention it, but undo that plug. But anyways, that's what we're gonna do.
If something wrong with you, my girlfriend told me I need some time alone to deal with.
All right, I'm gonna show y'all what we just had to do. You can't really see what we're doing. Anyways, you can see on that bolt right there, it's splined in. So what we had to do, Zach, can you show them where's the nut at? So what you had to do.
Had to get on this bolt right here. Had to have the nut on it and beat it with a hammer. It's got splines holding it in. It won't just pull out. This one and this one right down here.
I'm allowed to deal with issues, but something.
So we put the jack up under it to hold it. We had to undo this tie rod, 18 millimeter. These two bolts, they both were splined in there. So we had to put a nut on them, beat them out. I already explained that, or Zach already explained that. Anyways, so took the nut off and we had to wiggle it, and it wouldn't want to come. So we put the nut, just imagine this coming back through the rubber, the rotor. Anyways, we put the nut back on it. We took our hammer and we beat it out the best we could, and after that we just kind of had to wiggle and work the rotor and the knuckle and everything. We had to work it, turn it left and right till finally we could get it out. I mean, you can move these, you see they're very flexible, so you can work them out. So that's what we had to do to get it out.
Good old PB blast.
Oh yes sir. So because this
and a big pry bar.
Big pry bar. Shoot, you can get a lot done with that. Anyways, we're going to spray it. Yeah, spray it down in there. Can you see that? There you go. Spray it down in there. It ain't wanting to come out. It ain't even budging. So we're having a little bit more trouble with this side. The other side just came right out. As you can see, spraying in there where it goes in there. So we're gonna let it sit for just a second, and then we're gonna try for round two. He's about to have to pry on it because it ain't want to budge. So we're gonna try to get it out between both of us. But the technique we're using, we're pushing in. Let's see if I can't do it with one hand. All right, yeah. Push it in and then pulling out.
Do it for the love.
So we got an issue. The boot just came out. what is that called? The saddle?
Not too sure.
Honestly. Not too sure either. Anyways,
I know the whole axle come apart.
Whatever it is, the boot came out from around it. So that sent me flying. But so we got to work on prying that off the saddle or whatever it's called. That stuff looks yummy. I bet you won't taste it.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
All right, we'll let y'all know. It looks like we're just going to pry it out, huh?
Yep. The easiest thing would probably be to hit it from the backside.
Yeah. Well, I hope this doesn't happen to y'all. But it pulled out the whole inner shaft. So we're going to try to hit it out from up top. Because as you can see on the stock one, turn it around. You can kind of see how that's not how it's supposed to be. So we're going to try to hit it out. Set up in the vise. We're going to try to, yeah, we got it set up in the vise. Okay, yeah, we're going to turn it over. We're going to try to pull that out. And if not, we're going to try to, well, we're going to try to beat it out. But before we did that, we went and looked at the other one. Let me show them real quick. You can't beat it out. I'm trying to see if y'all both see in there. You can kind of see. It's a solid piece, so it's got to be yanked. So we're going to try to yank it out. Old Big Daddy over there, we're going to see what he can do. So. Oh, that came out pretty easy. Oh, okay, so if it comes out, just call Zach up. He'll come pull it out. No problem with his nosebleed.
That's it.
Explain the nosebleed.
That's what happens when you hit your nose with an axle.
Alright, we just stick it in there and put some oil on it. So what's a V-box now? You gotta make sure you line the splines right. Alright, you got it in there?
Yep.
So you know when it's in there.
Yeah, you'll have to push pretty hard, but you'll feel it finally force. It'll swing.
That's what it's gonna look like right there. Next, we're gonna rub some grease, just so to help slide on there. We're gonna rub some grease on that piece and from the transmission box into the factory. We're gonna run it in here. And on the inside also, on the gears, so, or the teeth, whatever you call it. All right, we got some grease, it's the lube, extreme pressure, red grease. We're gonna put it out here where it connects into the transmission. I mean, you'd probably find if you just put it on the axle. We're just gonna run it around. Got on there pretty good. Alright.
Check out that nice, pretty new axle.
Boy, look at that thing. I'm gonna run it around the outside. There's your second keeper. Alright. Think we're good. Now we're going to try to go in with it real quick.
Alright, here's the video of the axle actually going into the transmission. That way you can see whenever it's fully seated what it's going to look like.
Alright, so it's in there. Now it's just getting on there straight and getting... Does it look even?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh.
There we go.
Alright, that looks like it's all the way in there now.
Alright. But that's what it's going to look like.
That's a fully seated axle.
Yep.
And once it starts going in, it'll pretty much stop once it's all the way in. It won't take a whole lot of extra force once it starts.
Alright. Alright, so we're going to try to work this in there. One thing I forgot to mention, y'all may have already done it, but this plug, we undone it. It's actually right here, just to have more playroom. So maybe y'all already figured that out. I don't know. Sorry we didn't mention it, but undo that plug. But anyways, so we're gonna do the best we can. Kind of give it some downforce, and then she's where she needs to be now. So we're gonna put the axle nut. Let's see if I can Turn it in. Let me see. You may have to work it a little bit. I'm trying to. All right, give me that axle now. I'm gonna try to at least.
You want to do that first? Where'd you put it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just start it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just so it'll hold in place. I don't want it falling back out. All right, so.
Now we can see if we can get these bolts in here.
Yep. So we're gonna try to get that bottom one in first.
Probably so.
I need to move it. I can't.
Come up some with it.
All right. So she's through, and you're gonna do that. You're gonna have to adjust it. Do the same thing on the top, and after you get it right up top, yeah, go ahead and put the nuts on. After you get it right up top, that should be pretty close. All right, and you're going now. Before you put the nuts on, hold on, Zach.
Oh yeah, we got to put the bracket on there.
Well, actually, where did it go? Oh, there it is. You're gonna take the bracket with the harness and everything, and go ahead and put it up there because that's what the nuts hold on. Also, they hold on the bracket. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on there. Yeah, there you go. Put the nuts back on. All right, and now what we're gonna do, in order to drive them back in there, we're actually just gonna tighten up this side, the nut, and it should pull it through. So we'll update y'all on that. We're gonna put everything back together. Got a
big thanks to Natural Light for this video.
Anyway, so we're gonna put the tie rod in there. Go ahead. We have to work it a little bit. Now, let me show them. I'm gonna go ahead and put the nut on there. Oh shit. Yeah. Alright. So, y'all see that? That is a backup. What was it on? What size was that?
I think I had a 5/16.
I thought it was too. I'm not 100% sure. And bring that ratchet if you can. I'm gonna try to show them.
Yeah, it's a 5/16.
Okay, so what you're gonna do on that one is if you have a handy ratchet wrench, that's fine. But if you don't, you'll just have to turn it and work it. Shit. Anyways, so what we do, we take it, run it up there, take this back up. What I did was I just went ahead and put it right here, and I rested it up against the rotor. That way, whenever I'm turning it, I ain't got to worry about keeping pressure on it. So that's what you do. You just run it down until it's snug. Show them how I'm keeping. See, I ain't even got to hold it because it's got constant pressure by this time on that rotor. So, but yeah, you just keep running it down, snug, get it as tight as you can. See, there it goes. Right there. So, I got it off. I just wiggled it off. Anyways, but that's on the tie rod. That's what you're gonna do. Sorry. Let me stop there. Well, you're gonna want to put this
plug back in.
Yeah. Put the plug back together. It only goes in one way. You can't mess it up. So, and you're gonna slap that right there. Too easy. All right. Next thing we're gonna do is tighten these up. Show how that works. This works. He's just tightening up one side. It's gonna pull it in. So go ahead. There, fellas, that's pretty simple. So, next thing is the axle nut. We're good to go. We'll recheck everything and yeah. torque everything. Mainly just the axle nut. But what is it, 160? 160 foot-pound torque. That's what you want to torque it down. I wish. Sponsored by Harbor Freight, Pittsburgh. I'm telling y'all, that's some good shit. Alright, Zach's gonna do his thing. He's gonna tighten that sucker up. There she goes. We're good to go. Just put the wheel back on. We're good. My toe. Almost lost my toe. Put the wheel back on. We're gonna check everything first. Put the wheel back on, and obviously let the jacks down and everything. So hope y'all enjoyed it. We'll give y'all an update. All right, so I got the wheels back on. I got the lug nuts put on. Now last thing to do is torque them. The manual says 100 foot-pound torque, so that's what I normally torque them down to. So just make sure it's set.
Oh yeah.
For 100 foot-pound. Then check it. That one's already there from the impact. That's it. Let it down. Take it for a test drive.